Eagles fans, y'all know what time it is. It's week 6. I'm here with my guy, Philly Foothills from the Nest Out West, and y'all know how we getting busy. We got the Eagles versus the Buccaneers in Lincoln Financial Field. Come on, y'all. We need y'all to get the energy up. We need y'all to talk y'all trash, talk y'all ish. This is going to be a hell of a matchup. I've been looking forward to this matchup all season, but in the same breath, this matchup has been wrecking my nerves. Philly Foothills, tell me how you feeling about this so far, man.
I am definitely anxiously nervous about this one tonight. It's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough one, but a short week, and some injuries for the opposing team. We have a little bit of a recipe, I think, for maybe an upset tonight. I'm excited. I got some goosebumps tonight. I know it's going to be tough. It's definitely going to be tough, but yeah. What's good? What's going on, everybody? I appreciate everybody being here. We're live on both channels, so thank you so much for all the love and support while I've been gone. And I'm feeling a lot better and ready to rock tonight. I mean, we're less than 2 hours away now from game time, so let's effing go. Let's do this thing.
It doesn't get any better than this. You know what I'm saying? You're here. You're healthy. You're back. We definitely got to talk about your time in Philly last week, even though we were disappointed, but I'm pretty sure you enjoyed yourself. But like my man Philly Foothills said, we're just so glad to be here. We're less than 2 hours away from kickoff. If I didn't already do so already, I'm your humble host, Tone DeShields II, along with my most illustrious co-host, Philly Foothills from the Nest Out West. And we're coming at you live from both channels, the Nest Out West and Chalk It Up Sports Philly. So make sure you guys go lock in on both of our channels. Go like, comment, and subscribe to all of our content. Y'all know how we get busy. We're giving y'all that hot fire. We're giving y'all some of the best Eagles content out there in the Eagles nation. So make sure you guys lock in. We'll be so grateful for that. And let's just get right into it, man. So Buccaneers at Eagles, Lincoln Financial Field at 8:20 p.m. It's going to be a hell of a matchup. Let's dive into this injury report, my man.
Yeah, let's get right into it because both teams are missing some key players. But yeah, let's get into it because on our side, we got Lane Johnson, missing a third consecutive game for an undisclosed personal reason, and just I guess thoughts and prayers out to Lane, whatever he's dealing with, whatever he's going through right now. I hope it works itself out and he's able to get his personal life in order first and foremost, and then get back on the field for our birds. Hopefully, sometime this year. It's getting a little worrisome. Have you heard anything new about that whole thing with Lane?
I haven't heard anything new about it. It is worrisome because it's undisclosed and
right.
He's not hurt or anything. At least physically, right? And
right.
It's one of those things that you really want to hope that everything's good in his personal life. You want to make sure his family's healthy. You want to make sure he's not dealing with any significant loss. Again, I would hate to assume what this guy's going through, but at the end of the day, this guy is more than just an athlete. He's more than just a player. He's a person. He's a human being, that eats, breathes, bleeds, shits just like us, right? So Absolutely. we have to give him that grace to be able to get his personal life in order to make sure he's in top-notch form when he's playing, for the city, because the last thing we would need out there is for him to be second-guessing everything he's doing. And that's how, and not only does that become a liability to the team, he becomes more of a liability to himself. Football is such a physical sport. And you don't want a guy out there who's already thinking about, being off the field. You know what I'm saying? You don't want a guy who's too consumed about what's going on outside of the line. Excuse me. So again, I hope Lane Johnson's good. I hope he's healthy. I hope the family's good. I hope the family's healthy. I hope he's not experiencing any crazy loss or anything like that. I hope everything is manageable and just, maybe he just needs a couple weeks off, a few weeks off just to clear his mind.
Yeah, I've heard some rumors that it's possibly a marital issue. So I think he may be dealing with some pretty serious marital issues, and that's why he's needing the time away. But that's all been rumor and speculation at this point. But there was some rumors about a relationship issue, a personal relationship issue.
Wow,
Yeah.
man, that's always a sucky thing, man. Love is it can be such a sweet potion. It can be such a sweet potion, or it could be such a radioactive poison at times, man. And again, I hope everything's I hope everything's being amicably worked out between him and his significant other.
Right.
And outside of that though, besides Lane Johnson, we're obviously missing our main guys, Brandon Brooks, Brandon Graham. That's obvious. But outside of, we're also going to be missing Dallas Goedert, I believe, because of COVID. I don't think he cleared, did he?
No, he did not. Dallas Goedert's not playing tonight, and it's going to be mainly Zach Ertz. Jack Stoll's going to be, getting some reps too tonight. But they also elevated a tight end off of the practice squad by the name of Noah
Togalai, something like that.
Yeah, he's like I think he's Samoan or an Islander or something like that. But yeah, he's he's a practice squad kid, and we also elevated Raven Leclerc from the practice squad as a backup lineman.
LaRaven Clark. Yep, LaRaven Clark. Right. Yeah.
Suo Peta also is on the COVID list. So not only Goddard, but also Suo Peta on the COVID list. So yeah, we had to elevate a couple guys. Yeah, I'm looking for Zach Ertz to have a decent game tonight because it's going to be his show at tight end. It's going to be his show tonight. So he needs to step up.
No, you're right about that, man. It's been a while since Zach Ertz has been the number one guy, right? It's been quite some time, especially right. all things considered with the situation with Dallas Goedert, trying to get his big payday, and also with the news with Zach Ertz from last season. But again, Zach Ertz is the number one guy once again in his career, and we're going to see what he's able to do with it, right? So, along with the guys on our side, Tampa Bay has they're missing a lot of people. They're missing all their starting corners. They're missing Rob Gronkowski to a rib injury. They're missing Levante David to an ankle injury. They're missing Antoine Winfield to a concussion. Right. Jason Pierre-Paul, O'Connor, and Jensen, their center, are all questionable. But they are poised to play. But again, they're all game time decisions at the end of the day, right?
Man, that makes me even a little more excited. I didn't even hear that their center was banged up a little bit. I didn't see that part because that's part of the recipe I'm talking about, and that's one of my keys to victory. We're going to talk about a little bit later, but the defensive tackles we have right now, the dominant play of Javon Hargrave in the middle, number 97, he's been killing it. 6 sacks in 5 games. I think he's fourth in the league right now. He's fourth in the league right now at not just defensive tackles, but all together with.
Yeah, I think he leads the tackles in every category. I think he leads all the tackles in every category. Yeah,
correct.
Yeah. But yeah, like you said, we're going to definitely the main thing, right? The main matchup they were really looking forward to seeing: Jalen Hurts versus Tom Brady. This is going to be very interesting. Now, obviously, Jalen Hurts is they're both on offense. Neither of those guys are going to actually be going head to head, but we always like to compare the quarterbacks and how they match up. And at the end of the day, they're always going to compare. For example, they always compare Lamar Jackson's record against Pat Mahomes. And Pat Mahomes has had his number in years past, but Lamar Jackson finally got his W against Patrick Mahomes. They met each other on many occasions. But Jalen Hurts versus Tom Brady. This is a very interesting matchup because both of these quarterbacks are on two opposite sides of the quarterback spectrum. You have Jalen Hurts, who's a dual-threat quarterback who's not afraid to get it done with his legs, who likes to make a lot of things happen outside of the pocket. Then you have Tom Brady, who is a pocket dynamo. He is his pocket presence is unruly, unmatched. Can't even be quantified how much pre-snap experience that guy brings to the table. So what are your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Because Tom Brady is playing at a very high level. He set another personal record that he's never done last week. He had 400 yards and 5 touchdowns. So, he's continuing to etch his name in the history of NFL football as one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. And it's crazy because even at his age, what is he, 45 years old now? It's like he's 45 going on 30, or damn near right now. It's like he's getting better with age, but
he's very strange.
If we can get the defensive line to establish the line of scrimmage on the defensive side of the ball and not let them establish a run game, that's going to benefit us tremendously. At least we can limit them to not gash us like we've been getting gashed, in the run game. Some of these past games that we've witnessed, against. I mean, we got gashed on the run against Dallas, against Kansas City. Kansas City ran the ball at will. I mean, they were getting like 8 yards a run, damn near, on against us. So we really got to tighten that up. We can't let Leonard Fournette get off tonight, and we really got to win the line of scrimmage on the defensive side of the ball. That's going to help get Tom Brady off of his spot, things like that, get him uncomfortable. And as far as Jalen Hurts goes, we got to, as much as they may not want to, or I don't know what's the reasoning completely behind having him in shotgun so much, but you got to get him you got to get him under center a little bit. You got to make it at least look like we're going to run the ball, even if you're not. You got to make it a little bit difficult on this secondary. We got Jalen Hurts has got to attack the secondary. They have a lot of injuries, like you said, and especially with their safety being out, them missing their middle linebacker. We got to attack the middle of the field. Definitely, take some shots. Don't just Jalen can't be just staring down Devontae all night long. It's just, I understand that's his number one guy, and he does get open a lot. I'm not saying we don't not to throw Devontae Smith the ball, but you got to look in other spots too, definitely. So, spread the ball around. Get these speed guys in good spots where they can get some yak in the open field.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's going to be so important for them to spread the offense, spread these skill position guys apart, spread the defense, because if we keep clogging up the middle, and if we keep allowing, the bottom line is we need to be more than one dimensional as an offense. Absolutely. I feel that in order for Jalen Hurts to really be successful, he has to have a running game to rely on. Like every quarterback needs a running game. I don't care who you are. You can't be dropping back, throwing the ball 40 plus, 50 plus times every week. It's just not sustainable.
And then some of the time when we have him in shotgun, he's in an empty backfield, so that you're basically taking away. I mean, except for him escaping the pocket and getting out and running as a quarterback, but you're taking away any threat of a run to the defense. So you're making it that much easier. You're making it that much easier on the defense. You can't do that, especially against Tampa Bay. We have to take advantage of the secondary tonight.
We have to. You're absolutely right. And
all three of these guys, the starting wide receivers, have to wake up tonight. They do.
Exactly. I feel like Devontae has always been answering the bell. I feel like Quez Watkins just hasn't been getting the targets like he should have been. I feel like Jalen Reagor. I feel like out of all those guys, Jalen Reagor is the one that has to wake up the most, right? And he's just been regressing week by week by week, and his targets have been diminishing week by week by week. And I don't know if that's because he hasn't been as engaged. He's not hitting the routes as crisp. He's not getting separation. I don't know, but this is going to be a big game for Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen. They go up against a Super Bowl winning defensive coordinator and Todd Bowles. Todd Bowles is not a slouch. Todd Bowles knows when to send the blitz. He knows how to send the blitz, and even more than that, he knows why to send a blitz. Nick Jalen Hurts hasn't been the most accurate in responding to the blitz. He just hasn't. That's just the reality. I think when he's not blitz, he's averaging about 65% per throw. Like well, not per throw, but he's has a 65% completion percentage. But when he's not being blitzed, and when he's being blitzed, I think he's at around like 58, 59%. So he has to clean that up. He has to show a little bit more poise. And if you think about it, most of those blitzes are coming from the right side, forcing him to go left, and he's not as accurate when he's going left. As far as escaping the pocket. So it's going to be really important for Nick Sirianni to draw up some schemes, get Jalen Hurts going early in terms of getting him some clean throws, some easy throws, getting that arm warm, allowing him to gain confidence against the secondary. Because yes, Levante David is out, and I'm trying to transition into the linebackers now. But just as good as their DBs are when they're healthy, their linebackers are just as good as well. And even though Levante David is out, you still got to pay attention to guys like Devin White. You know what I mean? They have guys who aren't afraid to drop back in coverage, who aren't afraid to blitz, who aren't afraid to sacrifice themselves in any capacity just to make the play. So Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen are going to have to call the game of their careers. This is going to be the perfect litmus test to truly judge how how good this team is, right? So because if you think about it, okay, we beat Atlanta. All right, Atlanta is a bad team. We lost San Fran. Okay, San Fran's a better team. We lost to the Cowboys. Okay, they're a better team. We lost to the Chiefs. Okay, they're a better team. Now Tampa Bay. I'm sorry, and we beat Carolina. They were supposed to be a better team. So this team is kind of confusing, right?
And they were looking like a better team for the whole first half. I mean, they were dominating us last week. So yeah, I mean, we should know. If you would ask me at halftime if we were gonna win that game last week, I would have said there's probably not a very good chance. That's for sure. Because I mean, our offense wasn't doing anything, and it looked like they were gonna just. I mean, they were up what 15 to 6 at halftime. I mean, they had a good lead. They just shot the bed once again in the second half. You know, Carolina's just, I don't know what it is. They don't make good halftime adjustments, obviously, because they seem like they're coming out worse than they were in the first half.
Right, and that's the thing, man. The offense sort of woke up in the second half, in terms of just moving the ball and taking advantage of opportunities.
Got a lot of help from the defense, special teams, yeah.
Got a lot of help from defense. Defense giving those guys, defense and special teams giving those guys short fields time and time again. So it's going to be so important.
When we block, tell me that I wasn't alone on this. When we blocked that punt, tell me you weren't screaming for that guy to pick that up and run it into the end zone. He just dove on it. There was nobody else around. I mean, I understand he was probably a little nervous and wanted to make sure that they recovered the ball there, but I mean, we're starving for points at that point, man. Just scoop and score that thing all day long. And then he dove on it. There was no Carolina Panthers around.
They were nowhere to be found. You're right. It would have been cool. Yeah, you're right. It would have been cool. It would have been cool to see Sean Bradley do that. It would have definitely been cool to see Sean Bradley take that into the crib, right?
That was a great block by TJ Edwards, though. The way he kept his arm back like that and then made sure that he didn't hit the kicker's leg. TJ, that was smooth by TJ Edwards. Very smart. Exactly. Very intelligent.
That was a heady play. That was a heads up play. And you got to give Michael Clay credit for keeping his special teams crew engaged.
Yes. He's probably in their ear. At least I would hope he's in their ear saying, "Hey, we're one big play away from switching the momentum of this game right now." Right. Our offense isn't doing much. They can't drive the field. So we need to give them an opportunity with a short field if we could do so, and they did. Man, it was my eyes got about this big when they blocked that punt. I was like, ooh.
It's funny you say that.
Up and just run it in. I'm like, come on.
Bro, I know.
I was like, man. It's kind of a moot point because we did score, but it's just I wanted to bring it up because that killed me a little bit.
No, you're absolutely right, man. It definitely put us in position to score. It would have been amazing if we would have just ran it in. But again, it set up the touchdown. I kind of wish we would have got the running game involved a lot more in that game.
Yeah.
We just it's unfortunate we just haven't really been taking advantage of our running backs in the running game as much as we could have, and it leads you to question. How much of a factor will the run game be for Philadelphia versus Tampa Bay's top-notch run defense? Because a lot of teams shy away from running the ball. A lot of teams knowing that Tampa Bay is very good at what they do, they shy away from running the ball. They don't really want that smoke with them. But I feel like it's really important for the Philadelphia Eagles to say, forget the numbers, forget what they've done. What can they prove it today? And it's going to be important for Miles Sanders to get touches.
Yeah, it absolutely is. You're right, and we can't let the past dictate what we do now. We have to be able to run the ball on the outside because they are not only do they have injuries to their secondary, but they are susceptible at missing tackles. So we need to run some sweeps. We need to run some even if it's an option play where Hurts has an opportunity to run, or he could pitch it to Sanders or Gainwell. If they stop us running the ball up the middle, then we gotta figure out a way to kind of counteract that. We can maybe run some screen passes, things like that, to try to alleviate the lack of run production. But hey, I say, you know what? Like you said, until they prove it to us on the field, let's run the ball. Run the damn ball. Like Sandra Bullock says in the damn blind side, enough with the damn trick plays, Bert. Run the damn ball. In this case, it's Nick. Run the damn ball, Nick. Shane's got to be in his ear. Shane has got to be. He can't let him get away from that. You cannot let a young, inexperienced, not only quarterback but wide receiver core as well, be continually put on the chopping block and being put out there in bad spots over and over again. You cannot do that. You cannot put Jalen Hurts in this wide receiver core in bad spots like that. It's not going to turn out well. You got to have balance. You got to have balance.
I agree. And Matthew Goodman says, as a Cowboys fan, I don't recommend running the ball tonight. I hear what you're saying. And sure, that didn't work for you guys. But it's a new week. And at the end of the day, you have to have a balanced attack, and you need to check the temperature of your opponent at the end of the day.
They're missing their starting middle linebacker too. So why wouldn't we try to attack that? Why wouldn't we?
And again, they have Ezekiel Elliott, who is a much better running back than Miles Sanders. I give them complete credit for that. But but regardless, that was week 1. This is week 6, and you have to check the temperature of that defense. You have to keep them honest in some capacity. You have to find a way to dominate time of possession. You have to find a way to keep the third downs short. You just can't try to rely solely on Jalen Hurts' arm tonight. I know there's going to be moments where he's going to have to sling it. I'm not taking that away from him. I'm not being an idiot and doubting that. But I think it's important for us to try to establish a run game. And if they're making it very clear that you're not going to run the ball against us, then all right, then that's the reality. Now it's time to pass the ball and get things going. But you have to try to at least get the run game going. Try to stretch those defensive ends. Maybe get some zone run schemes going. Maybe run the ball outside of the numbers, just to get those D ends hustling and bustling to try to tire them out a little bit. I'm not saying running between the tackles, running between the guards up the middle. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen at all with those two twin towers they got in Ndamukong Suh and I forget the other tackle's name. I forget his name. His name last starts with a V. He's a beast. Last name started Vio Via. I don't know. I don't know, but
who swallows up running backs basically. Yeah.
Exactly, man. But he's Vita Via. That's his name is Vita Via. But that's going to be. I'm not expecting these guys to run up the middle. That's one thing I'm not expecting. I'm expecting them to try to get the running game involved, maybe some zone running schemes, run on the edge, and just try to turn those D ends, turn those D tackles into some to make them chase you a little bit, tire them out. So that pass rush, so that pass rush isn't as effective because again, Todd Bowles loves to blitz. So if you can get those guys running horizontal, then at that point you have a better chance of taking away the effectiveness of that pass rush. And again, it always goes back to the running game. If Miles Sanders can get involved on some level, in some capacity, because he hasn't really had the output that we've expected. If he can get involved, if Kenny Gainwell can get involved, that would allow us to dominate time of possession. That would allow us to establish some sort of rhythm, some sort of continuity on offense, and maybe we can get the play action involved.
Right. That would be a beautiful thing to see. With Jalen Hurts has not had that. He hasn't had that luxury of having any sort of play action that the defense are going to bite on because our running game just hasn't been, outside of week 1, which, obviously we dominated on both sides of the ball. Our running game really hasn't done a whole lot. And, if they need to, I've been seeing Gainwell be more, it seems like he's being more productive on a consistent basis than Miles. And if that's the case, then they got to get him more touches too. If that's what it's going to take to get this offense going, because we got to do something. We can't continue to just we can't have Miles running into the back of offensive linemen. That looks so terrible. And it's embarrassing. And we're better than that. We really are. We just have to continue to be very thorough with try to be as balanced as possible on offense. But I wanted to ask you something, since we're talking about, the running backs and Miles Sanders. I wanted to ask you, what do you think's going to be? I mean, obviously he's frustrated, not getting the production, not getting the touches right now. But do you think that that the frustration is starting to hurt, is starting to affect him on a mental level?
I'm not sure if I've seen. I mean, the only if the only signs I've maybe seen, if it is affecting him on a mental level, is you can see the frustration in his body language on the field. But again, you just gotta keep hammering. I think more than anything, his frustration is materializing and making poor decisions in the backfield with the ball. Because you see him constantly trying to prove why he's the guy. You see him constantly trying to make something happen. Maybe he's doing a little bit too much dancing, trying to make something happen, and then again he ends up getting a loss. Or just in the previous game, you saw him running out of bounds, stopping the clock, maybe trying to get a bigger play going. And at the end of the day, at that moment, it's not about you; it's about getting the win. But I understand. I can understand his frustration, especially when you prepared this entire offseason being poised to be the number one guy, and you were preparing to be damn near the bell cow route, at the very least being a 3-down back. And they draft Kenny Gainwell, which is fine. Because Kenny Gainwell's more of a utility guy right now. He's really great in the passing game. He can run damn near every route in the route tree as a running back, which is pretty abnormal. But Miles Sanders, I feel like due to the lack of touches, he's pressing a bit, and it's going to be really important for him to just try to stay humble, stay focused, understand that the moments are going to come when you need to run, and he just has to look for every opportunity and take advantage of everything that comes his way. And I think what's going to really show where he is from a mental perspective is the fact that even when he's not getting the ball, how engaged is he on offense? Is he picking up blocks? Is he doing is he taking advantage of the garbage plays where maybe again he's not touching the ball, but he has to sacrifice his body so the play can get to the next level, whatever. Is he satisfied with maybe being a decoy on one play? He just has. I think right now it's important for him to just try to continue to move forward, continue to take what he's been given and just make the most out of it. Again, because he's not getting the ball that much, he's pressing. You can see it. You can see he's trying to make something happen. But at the end of the day, you only can do the most of what you've been given. So hopefully Miles Sanders can touch the ball at minimum 15 times a day, at minimum. And hopefully he can take one to the house, because that's really what it comes down to. He's one run away from taking it to the house, really. And if he can have that opportunity to do so, I'm pretty sure his touches will go up. But at the end of the day, it seems like Nick Sirianni is phasing him out of his game plan, and I'm not sure how I feel about that, if I'm being honest with you.
No, I understand where you're coming from, definitely, because he needs to be a big part of the game plan, going forward. And I want to, I'm fully behind Miles Sanders. He just can't continue to, make unsmart plays at the end of games. I know we won the game last week, but you do that against Tom Brady. I mean, hell, you give Tom Brady time on the clock, let alone timeouts, and then on top of that, you give him extra timeouts. There's no way you're going to beat Tom Brady in that situation. So we have to play smarter. If there's a situation like that, we got to stay in bounds. You got to make the opposing team use all their timeouts and things like that when it comes to crunch time. But yeah, I mean, what did Infamous 2K said? Antonio Brown is AB to kill.
About to kill his defense. Yeah, he's about to kill his defense. Yeah.
I mean, he's gonna. So they got Mike Evans, they got Godwin, and they got Antonio Brown. So he's going to be.
Yeah, they got OJ Howard, they got Cameron Brate,
right.
Leonard Fournette. They had that offense is loaded. That's a fact. That offense is loaded, even without Gronk. So I'm not going to sit here and be dismissive to Antonio Brown. Darius Slade and Steven Nelson have a tall task ahead of us, and ahead of them, and we're definitely going to get into that as well. Speaking of defense, as a matter of fact, Jonathan Gannon versus Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich. First things first, Byron Leftwich has become one of the most highly touted offensive coordinators in this NFL. He's a Super Bowl winning offensive coordinator, and for Tom Brady and for Byron Leftwich to have the respect of a guy like Bruce Arians and Tom Brady, being so young in his craft right now, that speaks volumes to how talented, how much of a football mind he is. But Jonathan Gannon, he has a tall task ahead of him. He did a decent job last week, stifling the Carolina Panthers offense. His players forced a lot of turnovers. We're going to get into those guys as well. But Jonathan Gannon, he showed us some different things last week with the stunts and blitzing more than he has all season. What are your thoughts on Jonathan Gannon in this matchup he has against Bruce Arians and Byron Leftwich's offense?
It's going to be very, like I said a little earlier, it's going to be very important for the defensive line to establish this line of scrimmage on that side of the ball and not let, or at least limit Tampa Bay to establishing a run game tonight. Because, if we let, like you said, they have a lot of talent on offense, and if we let them get going on offense and they start gashing us with the run game, it's not going to be pretty, because then they're just going to start hitting us with play action and things like that after that. And Tom Brady loves when he gets a good running game going and then play action over the top. Yeah, I mean, like you said, it doesn't really matter that Gronkowski is going to be out, because, I mean, Gronkowski's he's a great player, and he's still a very good contributor for them, but they have depth behind him, and I don't see that hurting them too much. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how we use our, if we play some too high safety against the Bucks, with maybe having McLeod with some help over the top on these receivers like Antonio Brown or a Godwin, so Mike Evans he's going to get his possession receptions. Those are going to be really hard to stop. But last week our secondary looked damn good. So if we can,
and they stopped the top 5 wide receiver in DJ Moore. Darius Slay had an amazing game against him. Whenever he was on him, man, and we didn't allow that guy to get off. And DJ Moore is one of the hottest wide receivers right now. Has been for the past 2 years or so. So again, AB is a different monster. Mike Evans is a different monster. We're not going to discount those guys at all, but I do have faith in Darius Slay and Steven Nelson to somewhat make a difference. But again, those guys are legit. I'm not going to act like they're not. Those guys are so dangerous at what they do. They are arguably the Buccaneers arguably have 2 of the top 5 wide receivers in this game. They arguably have 2 of the top 5 wide receivers in this game. And it's going to be interesting to see. And just real quick, Infamous, to your point, I think right now he's top 5 in yards or something like that. So I'm just going off right now. The yards, the receptions, all that stuff is indicating that he is in that top 5 conversation right now. Maybe from a talent perspective, he may not be the most talented wide receiver, but I think DJ Moore, as of right now, just based off what he's been producing, he is a top 5 weapon right now, just based off his numbers strictly. But again, I'm not saying he's. I'm not saying he's more talented than Julio Jones. I'm not saying he's more talented than Mike Evans or AB. Not saying he's more talented than. I actually don't think DJ Moore is more talented than Terry McLaurin, or I don't think he's more talented than
Devontae Smith,
Devontae Adams, excuse me. So just right now, just based off his numbers, he is being really productive for the Carolina Panthers. But I digress. But yeah, Jonathan Gannon's going to have a real tall task ahead of him. And you mentioned earlier, Javon Hargrave has been on fire. 27 total tackles, 6 sacks, 7 tackles for loss, which is an underrated stat. One forced fumble. How much can this Eagles D line impact Tom Brady?
Big time, because that's one of my keys. That's one of my keys to victory, is because if Tom Brady has had an Achilles heel in the NFL, it's been consistent pressure up the middle without blitzing. So because he'll kill you if you try to blitz him too much. He'll eat you up. But if we continue to get pressure with Hargrave, like you said, he's been killing it, and it's gonna be fun to watch, to see how Leftwich and Arians where they decide to slide the protection to the double team to, because whoever gets that one-on-one matchup has to win tonight. Has to get in Tom Brady's face. Has to get tackles for loss in the backfields, disrupt the run, get off the block and at least limit the run game to short yardage. You know, it's going to be it's been amazing to watch this guy Hargrave, number 27. He's got the number 97, I should say. He's got 27 total tackles, like it says right there, 6 sacks in 5 games. I mean, he's a dominant force right now, and I think Tom Brady, you know, Brandon Graham might be out, but we have 2 very dominant defensive tackles, and who are you going to double team? Because if you put either one of them on a single island, they're going to more than likely they're going to beat whoever they're facing. And I like the fact that you said earlier that I don't like anyone being hurt, but it's going to make it easier for Hargrave and Cox to eat in the middle with their center being a little banged up. So, you know, look for them to put some pressure up the middle. Definitely.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, man. Javon Hargrave and Fletcher Cox have to be the catalyst. It begins if they can make the center for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if they can make him work because he's already nursing an injury. If they can make him work, if they can make him second guess just anything, they're going to get up the middle. And if you can collapse the pocket from the middle and turn Tom Brady into a runner, turn him into a mobile quarterback, get him off his spots. That's what Tom Brady likes to do. He likes to settle in the pocket, and he loves to eat in the slot. He loves to take advantage of his tight ends. He loves to manipulate defenses with his eyes. Right. If you can eliminate Tom Brady from being able to have the time to manipulate and make decisions, and you turn him into a horizontal guy, start making him have to exit that pocket, force him to keep those feet moving, then we have a ball game. Then we could potentially actually be competitive in this game. It's going to be so important.
His throwing thumb is banged up a little bit too, so we get.
I don't know how much I want to fall into that because I've heard this has happened many times before. Tom Brady, his thumb, the elbow, his pinkies, and he ends up throwing for like 400 yards and like 3 or 4 touchdowns. Like,
he'll come up with a glove on it, and then he'll light us up tonight more than likely.
Right. Exactly, man. So, this D-line is really they have a tall task ahead of them, at the end of the day. That Tampa Bay offensive line is legit. Otherwise, Tom Brady would not be there. So man, it's going to be really interesting. I'm really happy for Javon Hargrave, man, because Javon Hargrave had a turbulent transition from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia. When he first got here, he got hurt. I believe he had a pectoral strain injury. And then about the time once he got healthy, it just seemed like he was always a step behind when it came to what the defense required from him. And on top of that, he was coming from a 3-4 system now, and then transition into a 4-3. And when you're used to being the nose guy, the nose tackle, and now you have to slide down and you're sharing that space with another D tackle, your roles change, your opportunities change, right? The expectations change. So I think he's gracefully settling into his role. On the D line next to Fletcher Cox. That combination is ridiculous, man. Especially with Fletcher Cox, being the older guy. Fletcher Cox he'll be 31, I believe, in December or something like that. So both and Javon Hargrave, I believe he's like 27, 28. So I think those guys together are truly formidable, and I definitely expect at minimum a sack between those guys. And again, the reason I'm being modest is because Tom Brady knows how to maneuver in the pocket without being super mobile. He just knows how to move his body, knows how to dip his shoulder. You know what I mean? So I'm not expecting it to be a sack party by any means, but I'm expecting these guys to get hands and feet on him, make him uncomfortable, force him off his spots, and make him throw off that back foot a couple times.
Yes. Yeah, that's what we have to do. If we want any chance of winning tonight, we have to do that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's a must.
For sure, man. For sure. And we mentioned earlier the pass defense, right? Guys like Darius Slay and Steven Nelson, those guys went off last week. They both combined for 3 touchdowns against Carolina, and all those I said touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Yeah. Sorry about that. Those guys both combined for 3 interceptions against Carolina, and all those interceptions they caught were extremely vital to our success, vital to the win. You think about Darius Slay catching that first one after we had 2 straight drives of 3 and out. You think about the follow-up one where I think we turned the ball over, and then after that, Steven Nelson put the cherry on top to close out the game and seal it for us. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how these guys fare against Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Antonio Brown. We also can't forget Avonte Maddox, who has such a great game against the Carolina Panthers. He had one of the most. He actually had a career. He had a career defining play last week. He had a play that truly was indicative to his growth from last season to this year. I've never seen Avonte Maddox fly to the ball like that. I've never seen him able to recover like that. And Robbie Anderson is a very good wide receiver in this NFL. Maybe not top 10, but Robbie Anderson is a legit wide receiver who should not be fooled around with it. Avonte Maddox showed that he was able to run with him with that very vital pass deflection in the end zone that would have made the game 17-3 if he catches that ball.
Right. Yeah, and if Darnold puts it a little more, if he puts a little more on it, he underthrew it just a touch, but
you know what that speaks to? That speaks to the pass. The pass rush got to him.
Yes. Absolutely, it does. You're right, 100%. Because a good, if you can get pressure with front four, that's just going to make your secondary look that much better. And that was, like you said, that was very impressive that Maddox was able to make up that much ground, and not only that, but have the focus to knock the ball down as well. He could have tried to went for the interception, but he wanted to make sure that he knocked that ball down, and that was a great play. And like you said, it kept points off the board. So. Anytime you could do that on defense, that's a big thing. It could be the difference in the game. And
yeah, you said something, kid. You said something real kid. He understood the moment. I think at that point it was a 3rd and 10, and he understood that if I deflect this ball, we get him off the field anyway. So let's not even risk the interception, like you said. And even though he kind of did get 2 hands on it to a degree, but at the same time, let's not play around with our food. Let's just finish the plate that's in front of us and be done with it. And again, I'm looking forward to seeing how these guys fare against these. Let's be honest, the Buccaneers wide receiver core is the core as a whole easily top 3.
Yeah.
Another receiving core you might put in that conversation is maybe the Tennessee Titans with Julio and AJ Brown. That's a very formidable
Cowboys
tandem. The Cowboys, so
the 3 of them.
Exactly, man. So and Michael Gallup isn't even healthy, and those guys haven't missed a beat. So it's important for
Arizona,
Slade, Avonte Maddox, Arizona. Yeah, they got Nuck, they got AJ Green,
they got Hop.
Yeah, yep. So it's important for this team to really try to take advantage of opportunities when they come and understand situational football. Darius Slay, Steven Nelson, Avonte Maddox, they needed last week to happen. I think their confidence through the roof. I think the momentum is going to carry over. I just hope that they didn't totally gas themselves from having such a emotional victory, because that can happen. A team can come off an emotional victory and they can just come out completely flat against, especially coming into a short week, right?
Definitely. And you don't want to let you want to have high confidence, but you don't want to be overly confident and then try to make a play, bite on a double move or something like that, and then just get roasted down the field. We've got to be smart. We got to play with discipline and on defense, continue our starting corners. If they continue this high level of play, man, look out, because we can get pressure with our front four especially up the middle. Yeah, we might get it. We might be able to get an interception or 2 tonight.
You're absolutely right, man. And that is perfectly transitions into the keys to victory, man. We talked about so many things. We talked about getting the running game involved. We talked about Jalen Hurts taking advantage of his opportunities. We talked about Nick Sirianni actually scheming some more complex plays to challenge Jalen Hurts to put him in some better positions to succeed, along with his wide receiver core. Yeah. For me, I'll start off. One of my biggest keys to victory is to control and limit time of possession when it comes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We cannot allow Tom Brady to have 65 plus plays. We can't allow him to have 10 plus play drives. We can't allow them to sustain drives. It's going to be a huge momentum swing if they get the ball first and we actually get them in a 3-and-out on their first series. That's going to be huge.
Or just keep points off the board. They don't necessarily have to be a 3-and-out, but keep points off the board. Don't let them drive into our territory and kick a field goal or score a touchdown. Yeah, that would be a big momentum for us to start the game. So I agree with you. Sure. That was part of my number one keys to victory too, is not letting them control the clock. I have it written down right in front of me. Not because if, like I said earlier, if we can limit their run game and not let them establish that, get that going and gash us to where that Tom Brady's able to use the play action. If we can get them off the field and keep our offense on the field and control the clock in our favor, then yeah, that's gonna be a big key to victory. Absolutely.
Most definitely, man. And then that just goes right into discipline, right? It's going to be so important for this defense. More important for the defense, the trenches, to just remain disciplined. The good thing is we haven't been getting the DBs have actually been very disciplined, and I say that because I can't recall the last time we had a defensive pass interference.
That's a good count. Yeah, we've been penalized a lot, but it hasn't really been defensive holding or pass interference. So yeah, that's a good shout.
Right. So right, and that just speaks more so to the DB coach. I forget my man's name. I definitely want to give him his flowers.
Oh yeah.
Geez, is it Marquand? Is it Marquand Manuel or it's on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, I think is it Marquand Manuel? Let me see. I have it in my notes here.
I think his name is.
You should know.
I should definitely know. Denard Wilson.
Yeah,
Wilson. Denard Wilson. Shout out to Denard Wilson. He has these guys playing very disciplined football. He hasn't. I not that I can remember, not that I've seen. We haven't had any defensive pass interferences or defensive holding. People in the chat correct us if I'm wrong, but I don't recall seeing that at all. Most of our penalties have been more so just lack of discipline related. And what I mean by that is guys stepping out of bounds. Things like illegal man downfield. Most of our penalties are technique penalties, or how do you say continuity like type of penalties. Guys being on the same page. You know what I mean? And you expect to see those deficiencies with a new coaching staff, a very young roster, a very young coaching staff. You expect to see those kind of things, but to the level we've been seeing, it's been really detrimental to our success, due to just poor discipline, due to just poor communication or whatever may have you. We wiped off like 5 touchdowns off the board for Jalen Hurts.
I think it's like 6 or 7 now. It's been a lot. It really has been. Yeah, the lack of just it has to do a little bit with definitely with coaching, but the lack of discipline, that definitely has to change. We can't have these penalties of illegal man downfield, things like that are just killing big plays on offense and really castrating drives. Really it's just.
That's the perfect way to put it. Castrating the drive, just castrating the drive. You're absolutely. That's the perfect way to put it, because it just takes away all of your momentum, all of your mojo.
Yeah.
It takes the life out of everything, man. Like the Devontae Smith touchdown on that beautiful slant route he ran. Greg Ward did not have to do anything but run his route.
Right.
He ran directly into the DB and tried to block him before the pass was even thrown.
And there was no need to do that. I mean, Devontae had 2 steps on the guy.
He beat him.
Do that. Yeah, he had him beat. That's an easy touchdown right there. That was so frustrating, because especially coming back from Philly, and seeing all the touchdowns that were taken off against Kansas City. That was tough to watch in person in the link. So yeah, it's been tough sledding for us with these officials, man. I don't know what we got to do to get in the good graces of some of these officials in this league, but man, they seem to love to throw the laundry on us. That's for sure.
Yeah, man. It's at the point now where whenever we see a flag, we think it's us, and that's not a good trend to be on.
Right.
It's just
Knock
not.
on wood, definitely. Yeah, knock on wood that we.
Yeah. Another key to victory I think that we should discuss is how can the defense attack Tom Brady, and that's going to be a lot of pre-snap motion on defense, a lot of disguising. We cannot allow Tom Brady to dissect his defense as is in the pre-snap. We have to disguise so many things. We have to attack him the same way the New England Patriots attacked him, and we have to do a lot of disguising, and we have to get the linebackers moving and not allow him to settle on where they are. Every time he looks at the defense, he needs to have to worry about where guys are. We need to constantly see him trying to make decisions pre-snap. And if we just keep his eyes moving, not allowing him to settle on where guys are, if guys are able to disguise well, then I think that can very well make Tom Brady a little bit more of a limited quarterback, a little bit of a limited quarterback, because we saw, and again, that game against the Patriots is very interesting because the pre-snap motion with the linebackers was definitely complex, and it definitely affected him. But at the same time, I feel like him returning to Gillette Stadium was also a reason why his game wasn't as sharp. You think about you think about that you think about the intensity of that moment for him coming back to a place he spent his entire career. So I think it was a combination of that why his game wasn't as sharp. Just being high off the emotions for that game and just wanting to just take it to his old head coach, right? But I think what Bill Belichick did still affected him. Just the pre-snap motion with the linebackers and disguising things, and and also throwing some stunts at him with the D line, just constantly keeping him guessing, not allowing him to settle on what you're doing.
Yeah, because you want to get him off his spot, not only physically, right? You want to get him out of the pocket, you want to get him moving, but you also want to get him off his spot up here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to make Tom work as much mentally as he is physically in this football game tonight. We definitely got to keep that wheel spinning. Definitely we got to challenge him on both levels. Absolutely, I agree with you 100%.
Mm-hmm. And we got to force turnovers, dude. We got to force turnovers. We have to create opportunities for ourselves. We have to give the offense short fields. You know what I'm saying? We have to make their job as easy as possible. The same way how the defense was able to force turnovers last week and give the offense short fields. We have to do the same thing this week and give Jalen Hurts the best opportunity to succeed. Put ourselves in positions to constantly keep putting points on the board. We can't settle for field goals. Of course, take the points when you have the opportunity, but if you're in the red zone, I'm expecting a touchdown and nothing less.
Yeah, and we got to try to avoid, getting in these getting in the third and longs. We got to avoid that. That's part of my keys to victory as well, is because there was a couple times, one in particular against Carolina. I think we got 8 or 9 yards on first down. We were moving the ball. We were around midfield. It's like 2nd and 2. And instead of running the ball on 2nd and 2, we decided to have Jalen Hurts in shotgun. He gets sacked. I think we lost 8 yards in that play. So it went from 2nd and 2 to 3rd and 10. Those are drive killers right there. And we can't have that happening tonight. We have to, the offense has to work in a pretty smooth manner to be able to keep up with this Tampa Bay team, because and that's part of my second half of my second key to victory, is taking advantage of that secondary, the beat up secondary for the Buccaneers, because we have to. And if they want to blitz us, then so be it. Have Devontae or have Quez run some quick slants and hit him on a quick slant, even if it's not a home run play, even if it just gets you 10 yards, or even 7 or 8 yards. You're getting in third and manageable at that point. And just, we have to take advantage of, and Jalen Hurts, he's been staring down Devontae a lot. He can't continue to do that. We got to get some of these other receivers, some of these speed guys, we got to get them the ball in open space and hope they get some yak yards, because the Buccaneers, they're susceptible of missing tackles. So we got to try to break through some tackles tonight and get some yak yards. That we got to make that happen.
Facts, man. And speaking of Jalen, This can't be a game where Jalen turns the ball over. Jalen cannot turn the ball over today. He can't.
Right.
If he cannot give the Bucs a short field, that's easy pickings for Tom Brady. He cannot turn the ball over. No fumbles, no interceptions.
Right.
And the good thing is the team. The only fumble we've seen from the team so far was the Devontae Smith fumble. Other than that, no one's really been fumbling, I believe. We actually haven't really been turning the ball over except for just through the passing game. When Jalen Hurts is trying to make something happen. I think he turned the ball over. He turned the ball over twice in Dallas and turned the ball over once in Carolina. So he has 3 interceptions on the season, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
so,
he did have a fumble at the end of the first half against Carolina, which didn't turn into any points for them. But then we didn't
lose it. We didn't lose. Well, that was a botched snap. That was a botched snap. Would you say? I think that's more so on.
He got stripped, and there was a guy that stripped it out of his hand. But the one that
you're right.
The one that went over his head, and that he should have. We're lucky that they didn't get a touchdown because he should have just kicked that ball out of the end zone. Just kick that ball, Jalen. You're in the end zone with the ball on the ground in your own end zone. Just kick that damn ball out of the back of the end zone. Take the safety. Don't risk giving up the 5 extra points. That's just
right.
You got to play smart. That's part of the football IQ as a quarterback.
Absolutely, absolutely, man.
But you're right, though. He's been good for the most part at limiting the turnovers, and we cannot. And I, say that with a pretty big authority on it. We cannot lose the turnover battle tonight if we want to win this game. There's no way in hell.
You're absolutely right. Can't lose the turnover battle. Can't lose the penalty battle. This game is really big, man. This game is really going to gauge where we are as an organization. It's going to really gauge where we are. It's going to really gauge where Jalen Hurts is as a quarterback. And I really don't want it to. I don't want Nick Sirianni to hold this kid back tonight. I do not. If I see any bubble screens in a row, I'm gonna lose my mind. If we don't allow Jalen Hurts to quarterback and throw that ball in the intermediate, if we don't allow him to throw that ball deep, if we don't allow him to actually quarterback and get these guys going, then I'm going to be so pissed. And I'm not gonna be a happy camper when it comes to Nick Sirianni, because Nick Sirianni, I'm on a week-to-week basis with him. I'm gonna be honest. I'm on a week-to-week basis with all those guys, because not once have they shown us any semblance of consistent football. It's one game where the offense is on point and the defense sucks. It's one game where the defense is on point and the offense sucks. It's one game where neither of them are showing up. There's too much of a. I've been saying it time and time again. There's too much of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde type of game plan going on here. Shout out to Joey Shakes, man. He says take advantage of these injuries. He says take advantage of these injuries for Tampa Bay's D. Tampa Bay gives up a lot of yards. Yes, we're going to see screens. Joey says watching you guys till I stream. Hey, man, appreciate that, my guy. Appreciate the love. But yeah, like it's going to be so important for Nick Sirianni to allow this kid to quarterback, because the way he's been calling the game, it's forcing people to look at Jalen Hurts in a certain light. It's forcing people to judge him based off of what the type of plays he's been doing. And I know for a fact he wants to be coached harder than that. I know for a fact he wants to be challenged much more than that, than just throwing a ball horizontal to a bubble, to a bubble screen. We know that just based off his mentality, based off how he carries himself. He wants to be taken seriously as an NFL caliber quarterback. And you're not going to get that. He's not going to earn that if you keep babying him and keeping the training wheels on. Let that man throw the rock.
And they have to continue to be in his ear about trusting the offensive line and when they're in pass protection, because I've seen some of the times, he just goes right to his first read and he's getting the ball out of his hand, really quick, and they're not even.
I think that's by design. I really think that's by design. That RPO stuff.
Yeah, they got to stop that, because they got to let him trust the offensive line, let the wide receivers run their routes, and let him go through a progression or two before making his read. It's right. Unless Tampa Bay is bringing all out, if they're bringing blitz after blitz after blitz, that's one thing. Then you get the ball out of his hands quickly. That's a way to defeat the blitz. But
here's the thing. Here's this. I heard this stat.
You got to let him play. You got to let Jalen play.
Bro, you're right. I heard this stat earlier. I was watching the National Football Show with Dan Sileo. Shout out to him. Via the Jakib network, JAKIB network. They do a lot of Philadelphia sports talk. They were talking. They mentioned the fact that Jalen, his average time to throw the ball, or his average time throwing the ball, his average release to get rid of the ball, is the same regardless of if he's being blitzed or not. That tells me that he's literally running the offense. He's going to the person he's supposed to go to. He's not taking time to digest the field. He's literally going to his read that he's supposed to go to. You know what I mean? So it's going to be so important. It's going to be so important for Jalen to allow himself to be challenged. Jalen wants to be challenged, you guys. Jalen doesn't want to be babied in this offense. Jalen wants to be put in positions to succeed. He also wants to be able to throw that ball and be a legit quarterback. How can we as a fan base, how can the league, how can opposing defenses take him seriously if they keep allowing this man to dink and dunk? It just won't work. You know what I mean? So we just can't keep allowing. Well, it's not really up to us, but Nick Sirianni can't keep holding this kid back. He's castrating his own offense. This college stuff is not sustainable. You have to let your quarterback be a quarterback, drop back, get him under center at some point, and let that man sling the rock.
Yeah, and stop putting him in shotgun. He has shown that he can drop back just as well as he can quarterback from the shotgun. Have him under center, have him do a 3-step or a 5-step drop, whatever it is, and have him sling that rock down the field. Man, enough with these damn the like you said, the bubble screens.
It's predictable. It's so predictable. It's so predictable. Yep. When you know they're lining up in the shotgun all day, at that point, he's already, like, let's say hypothetically he gets sacked. That's you first of all, when you're in the shotgun, you're already losing about 3 or 4 yards from the line of scrimmage. Right. So at that point, you're already putting him in at this disadvantage from the line of scrimmage. And if he gets sacked, you're losing. It's high risk, low reward. You know what I mean? Especially knowing the type of plays we're doing. We're not being creative on offense. Like, I understand, let the playmakers do playmaker things, but get the guys in space, spread them out. You know what I mean? Get those guys running some out routes. Get us some, running some slants. Running some smash concepts. You know what I'm saying? Like, get those guys going. Some deep digs.
And if Sirianni can't put on his big boy pants and call some better plays on offense, then he needs to continue to have those big boy pants on and hand over some of the play calling to Steichen, if not full time, because Steichen's called plays and he's done it at a pretty high level with the Chargers. He did it last year. So, and
yeah, he's the reason why Justin Herbert developed the way he did, because he put Justin Herbert in situations where Justin Herbert had to sink or swim.
Yes. Yeah, him and the quarterback coach that was with Justin Herbert, absolutely. They were very much influential on the growth of Justin Herbert. And not only that, but I've been hearing so many people compare Justin Eckler, or not Kenny Gainwell, to Justin Eckler. So
you're talking about Austin Eckler, yeah, the running back.
Yeah. Yes. So, that's a great comparison too. And if we can get that type of production out of Gainwell, that's going to be an amazing thing. And I think that we got to steal. I think he's going to end up being the steal in this past draft as far as
I agree.
Longevity in his career. I think Kenny Gainwell is going to be a Philadelphia Eagle for a minute.
I agree with you, man. So what are your bold predictions for this game then? You guys know how we get the bold predictions down. These things are some of the most outlandish things you may hear us say throughout the entire live stream, but they're called bold predictions for a reason. With the goal is to legitimately, hope for the best. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Do you have any bold predictions, Philly Foothills, for this game? Anything outlandish that the supporters, that the subscribers may look at you and scratch their head like, oh, I don't know, is Foothills smoking that Philly dope? I don't know.
That Cali good, huh? That Cali good.
That Cali good.
Oh man, I'm gonna go on a bold prediction on defense. Rodney McLeod is going to have not only an interception, but Rodney McLeod's going to have a tip ball pick six in this game.
Ooh. That's interesting. It's because, like, to counter that, I was actually going to say Avonte Maddox catches a pick six. I was
Hey,
going to say Avonte Maddox catches a pick six.
yeah,
Oh man,
that's
that's funny.
bold. This is bold, damn near. I mean, yeah, Vontae Mack's gonna have to put in that work tonight because
Hell yeah.
they got 3 good wide receivers. So, yeah, Vontae Mack's gonna have to strap it up tonight and put in that work definitely, just like he did
Yep.
last week.
And they're not afraid to put Antonio Brown in the slot. Antonio Brown is one of those wide receivers you can move around anywhere. So
Yeah, he
don't
can
be
play
surprised
anywhere.
if you see don't be surprised if you see AB in the slot, you see Godwin in the slot, might see Mike Evans in the slot. They move those guys around so much. It's like you have to be extremely mindful. So yeah, it's going to be really key for Avonte Maddox to play. He's another guy who has to play the game of his life. The DBs are in for a matchup for sure. A bold prediction I have. I'm going to say Jalen Hurts throws for over 350 yards.
Woo.
Throws for over 350 yards. 3 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown.
Oh, 4 total touchdowns, and that's a recipe that definitely. Hey, if they don't win, they're definitely going to be right in contention at the end of the game there. So I like that. Yeah, I think I'm going to go bold prediction. Let's see. I'm going to say Miles Sanders is going to have a breakout game tonight. I'm going to say he's going to have over 100 yards from scrimmage and 2 total touchdowns, 1 receiving, 1 rushing.
Interesting. And that's funny you said it because, we all know we talked about it before. The Buccaneers have such a stout run defense, right? So that's good. That's going to be interesting. I don't think they've allowed a 100-yard rusher at all, have they?
I don't think so. But yeah, I said 100 total scrimmage yards. So yeah.
Oh, so you mean all purpose like catching and all that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
okay. I can rock with that. I can rock with that. Okay. Okay. So
Yeah, I don't think they have given up 100 yards to any single rusher though. I think they're ranked 8th right now in run defense. So yeah, they're pretty solid on that side of the ball. That's for sure. Like you said, they got those 2 solid. Their defensive tackles are damn near as good as our 2. If you really compare them. I mean, Sue and the other guy that they got, yeah, they're gonna come to play tonight. So it's gonna be definitely a little tough sledding for the running game. But I think Miles might have a breakout night, might surprise some people.
Hey, I'm not mad at that, man. I'm not mad at that.
Well, like I said, they're susceptible at missing tackles. So if Miles can break a few tackles and get in some open space and use that speed, yeah, let's go. Let's get him going. Let's do it.
No, you're right. You're right about that, man. Now, let's see. Okay. They are allowing, let's see real quick.
Are you looking at the Bucs stats for their rushing?
Yeah, I'm trying to see what they're allowing right now.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be really interesting to see. All right.
I saw a lot of interesting things in Philadelphia. That was really, really cool. Very, very cool.
Man. Oh yeah, man. I know you enjoyed it too. How'd you enjoy everything?
It was really, really a great experience. It was amazing. I was literally staying in a B&B that was an old. It was first owned by one of the very first doctors in the Philadelphia area, and Thomas Bond.
Wow.
And yeah, it was like a 4-story old, one of the old homes that are in that area that they converted into a B&B. And we were literally like a couple blocks away from Independence Hall and
awesome.
The Liberty Bell. Yeah, that was really very cool to see all that. And we went. I did a night tour where this lady told us some. She told us some ghost stories that from the history of Philadelphia, and yeah, that was pretty fun too. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff. Ran up the Rocky Steps. Obviously, I had to do that.
Of course.
Took a picture with my son right in front of the statue. Yeah, that was very, very good. And yeah, I had one cheesesteak while I was there. It was from Campos. I don't know if you've ever eaten from them, but it was really good.
I don't think I've had Campos, but as long as it wasn't Geno's or Pat's, you're good.
Yeah, that's what everyone kept telling me.
For sure. So I think I got another little prediction for you.
Okay.
Jake Elliott kicks a game-winning field goal.
Oh, hey, I like that because that fits into my score prediction.
Same here.
I have the Eagles.
Speaking of score predictions, let's go right into it then. What's your score prediction?
I have the Eagles winning in overtime with Jake Elliott's foot, 24-21 in OT.
Oh, okay. Now I was thinking a little higher than that. I'm going to say the Eagles win 31-28. No overtime. No overtime. Okay. Just straight up 31-28. Because remember, I mentioned Jalen's going to go for over 350 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. That's 28 points right there. And then it's going to come down, and then Tom Brady, those guys, the game's going to be tied, and we're going to have the final possession, and we're going to drive down that field, and we're going to kick the game with a field goal, and it's going to be less than. Hopefully, there's no time left, but hopefully, we're going to try to keep it at less than 30 seconds for Tom Brady. No timeouts for him. Yeah. Right. We can't. We got to play smart, calculated football, man. But it's really going to be exciting, man. So my score prediction for the game is 31-28 Philadelphia, and you say yours is 24-21 Philadelphia.
Yes. Yep.
Hey, I can live with those results. I can live in overtime. Yeah, that's the caveat. I can live with those. I can live with those results, man. So yeah, man. We get
the ball in OT. We get the ball in OT, and we get a big play down the field to maybe Quez or Devontae for big chunk yardage. Get us in a field goal range, and Jake kicks I'm going to say it's going to be like a 40 to 45 yarder for the win.
Okay. I'll take that, man. But on that note, let's close.
And the Cowboys fans are going to go nuts.
If we win this game, it's a long shot. It's a long shot. But if we win this game, Cowboys fans are going to lose their mind. They're going to lose their minds.
Yes.
For sure, absolutely, man. But on that note, man, as always, man, this was an illustrious live stream with you, my brother. We always going to keep doing this every single time there's a game. We're going to do this, man. So grateful for you to be in my corner. Grateful for us connecting.
Same here.
These live, I live for these conversations, man. A bunch of my family watches the live streams. They love what you're doing. They love what we're doing together, man. This is awesome. It's really dope, man, because it's all about just feeding the people, right? The content they want to hear, they want to see. It's all about giving people the energy they want, right?
Absolutely. And we get some sports therapy in the process, So that's a win-win for everybody.
Yep. For sure. So tell the people where to find your content, my man.
Yeah, you guys come find me out. I'm on YouTube at The Nest Out West. We're live streaming on both channels right now. So make sure that if you're on Tone's channel, make sure you come over to The Nest Out West. Hit that thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up on both channels. Make sure you do that. It helps push the content out there more and more. But yeah, you can come find me, The Nest Out West. I'm always putting out content. I've been getting over being sick recently, as you can kind of hear in my voice. But yeah, I'm gonna be right back at it. I'm feeling.
You sound amazing, my man. You sound amazing.
I appreciate it, my dude. Definitely. But yeah, come check me out. If you want to hit me up on social media, you can find me on Twitter at Philly Foothills or at on Instagram. It's at Philly_Foothills82. And I'm also, on Facebook, not as much, but you can find me there on at Philly Foothills. You just type in Philly Foothills, you'll find me definitely. But yeah, come check me out. I'm always, putting out content and doing an East Meets West podcast each Saturday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with AK Eagles of Eagles Uncensored and Vic 3. So yeah, we're trying to expand that a little bit. Maybe we're going to be expand that into the week a little bit more. So we're in talks of that, but yeah, come check me out. Definitely. You could on YouTube, just type in Philly Foothills, or you could type in The Nest Out West, because I'm holding it down out here in California for Eagles Nation 24/7, 365. Absolutely. Yeah. So you can find me there, and make sure if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to the content. I'd really, really appreciate it. And make sure you turn on that notification bell, because that's important. That way you never miss. You hit that bell, ding it up, basically. Absolutely. And that way you never miss any of the content or any of the live streams like this one right here with my boy Tone DeShields, which, like you said, has been absolutely amazing, just like always. So hey, we're less than what, 45 minutes now from till game time.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Yes.
For sure, man.
Everybody,
Yeah, for sure, my guy. Appreciate you as always, Foothills. And like he said, man, I'm your guy, Tone DeShields II from Chalk It Up Sports Philly. As you guys have already noticed, the YouTube channel has gone through a little bit of a makeover. Got a new logo, got a new identity, got a new brand for the channel. We're still Chalk It Up. I'm still Tone DeShields II, but we're Chalk It Up Sports Philly. Want to establish a little bit more of a network, more of a an established identity for you guys, give you guys something a little bit more sturdy to stand behind. You know what I mean? So I really appreciate you guys locking in. You know what I mean? Exactly. Really appreciate you guys locking into the content. Really appreciate you guys constantly supporting us as well, man, because this content game is not easy. You know, we all lead different lives. We all have so many various respective responsibilities. You know, we have families, we have wives. You know, some of us have children like Foothills. You know, so it's always a battle. It's always a constant grind trying to continue to pump this content out to you guys. And we just appreciate you guys' patience. We appreciate y'all loyalty. And we just appreciate the love at the end of the day, because without it, this content cannot move. So like my man said, make sure you guys always like, comment, and subscribe to the content. You can find me on YouTube, Chalk It Up Sports Philly. That's Chalk It Up Sports Philly. Or you can type in Tone DeShields II, whatever may find you. You're going to always find the content. The content is there. You can always be fed. But before we get out of here, Foothills, you know we got to get the Eagles chant out here, man. You know we got to get the theme song. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. Let's do this.
Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Or touchdown.
1, 2, 3. Hit them low. Hit them high.
Watch our
Eagles fly. Fly, Eagles fly.
On the road to
victory. EAGLES Eagles. Come on, y'all. I know how we doing. It's going to be a hell of a matchup tonight, y'all. Let's get it, man. We out of here. We love y'all. One love. Stay humble. Stay healthy. And most importantly, stay hungry, y'all. And fly, Eagles, fly. We in Eagles country, baby. Let's get it.
Keep it fuego.
Yes,